Congratulations, everyone. We saved the garden. You know, for over a year and a half, the Church of Scientology has been negotiating with the City of Clearwater about 3 properties and to ultimately convince them to vacate and sell the first property, South Garden Avenue. And the public only heard about it a few months ago when the city created 2 agenda items to be voted on. The first agenda item was ID 9812-25. And that was a request to vacate or give up South Garden Avenue. Then the second agenda item was ID 25-0263. And that was ultimately to declare as surplus and sell the property to the Church of Scientology. It was Mike Mastroserio who brought it to Kelly Meyer's attention, who then brought it to my wife's attention, who then brought it to my attention. And I want you to think about that. This incredible Save the Garden movement began when one man, Mike Mastroserio, said, "Hey, we've got to stop this." You see, that's the way it goes. And that was the first lesson I learned in this journey. Lesson number 1, all it takes is one to start a movement. And when my wife approached me about the Church of Scientology attempting to purchase South Garden Avenue, I was hesitant at first. I was deep into major projects at work. I wasn't sure if I had the bandwidth to take it on. But I've learned that when my wife asks me to do something, she's already considered all of that. So I asked her directly, "Are you really asking me to do this?" And she nodded. And I said, "Okay." And that's lesson number 2 I learned. When someone asks you to get involved, do it. My first step was to explore our legal options. And we basically had 2 choices. Number 1, attend the next city council meeting and protest the street vacation publicly within my 3 minutes of allotted time for comment. Or number 2, I could submit an alternative use proposal in case the city did decide to vacate the land and declare it as surplus. So we decided to choose the latter. But truthfully, I had no idea what to propose. So I began watching recordings of every council meeting and every public comment tied to this issue, hoping for some sort of inspiration. And that's when I heard Barbara Sorey-Love of the Clearwater African American Foundation. She spoke during the March 17th council meeting, and she shared a forgotten story about the Garden, one of 3 historically Black self-sustaining communities that thrived during segregation. But unlike Greenwood and the Heights, the Garden has largely vanished from public memory. It existed on Garden Avenue, which is the long road directly tied to the South Garden Avenue road the city was about to vacate. And that brings me to lesson number 3. If you are willing to diligently look for a solution to any problem, you will find it. Now here's an important note. While I was researching, and unbeknownst to me, Kelly Meyer, our dear friend and member of our team, she also discovered Barbara's story while doing her own research. I didn't know this till later, but Kelly actually wrote some of the council members, including Councilman Menino, and she asked if they were willing to postpone vacating the property and selling it to Scientology, just wait on that until they could first hear a compelling idea from someone like Barbara Sorey-Love of the Clearwater African American Foundation. But you know, no one responded to her request. I found all of this out later, and it confirmed to me that, you know what? If I'm thinking about it and Kelly's thinking about it, we should pursue a partnership with Miss Barbara, which leads me to lesson number 4. Do not move forward with an idea until you receive confirmation from others. Barbara's story lit a fire in me and our whole team. I did the research, I verified the history, I vetted Barbara's background and reputation, and she vetted us as well. And then with clarity and conviction, Kelly and I reached out to her and invited her to co-create a new proposal with us, one that would honor the history of the Garden and provide an inspiring, community-driven use for that street. That leads me to lesson number 5. Step out and find out. You never know who will work with you until you simply ask. It was April 3rd, the very day the council was expected to vote 3-2 to vacate Garden Avenue and sell it to Scientology. That's when we submitted our proposal at the final hour. And miraculously, Councilman David Albritton made a motion to delay the vote, giving the city and our team time to refine our proposal. I cannot tell you what a good man David Albritton is. He truly is. He truly wants what is best for the people, and I've seen it. He agonizes over his decisions. He gave us the time that we needed to gain momentum. So we met with the city manager and with each council member to gather feedback about our proposal. We launched a website, savethegarden.org, produced short documentaries. We hosted live events to rally supporters. We collected over 1,000 petition signatures. Not only that, but we generated media attention across Tampa Bay and beyond. And in a short time, Save the Garden became a major movement in our city and garnered tremendous support. That leads me to lesson number 6. Our city has good people on the city streets and in the city seats. You know, many have told us that they are amazed at how much we've accomplished in such a short time. But do you know not everything went smoothly? Miscommunication caused some African American leaders to feel excluded from the initial vision. Or maybe they feared that city funds meant for their projects might be redirected towards ours. And this led a few to write letters to the city council opposing our plan. And as soon as we learned of this, our team reached out. We scheduled meetings and we listened to their concerns and we worked hard to build unity. And thankfully, most of the conversations were productive. Once we were able to offer clarity, we turned most of our critics into allies. But unfortunately, a few organizations that receive funding from the Church of Scientology, they declined to meet with us and they remain in opposition to us this very day. It is these critics of ours that a couple of council members eagerly point to as, evidence of our group causing problems in the African American community, also implying that we are using the African American people as pawns to block the Church of Scientology from acquiring this land, when in fact we have always clearly communicated our intent. We don't want the city to give up the land. And in the event the city gives up the land, it is within our rights as citizens to submit an alternative proposal. And our friend Barbara Sorey-Love was the only one who offered an alternative vision for that street. And so our group simply supported her to make that happen. So let me just take a moment to address these accusations. To suggest that my team and I are deceitful manipulators, that's flat out wrong. Anyone who spends time with us knows that we are the real deal. We are sincere to the core. And to suggest that Miss Barbara Sorey-Love and others in the African American community are easily manipulated by us, well, that's an insult to their intelligence. This is a very low view of high quality people, which leads me to lesson number 7. When people slander you, let them. So here we are now with quite a turn of events. On the day that city council is supposed to vote, the Church of Scientology backs out of their initial street vacation request, which according to the city, nullifies all alternative proposals. And the selling of the street now is off the table until the Church of Scientology regroups and tries again, which they will. It's like when you were a kid and you were playing basketball with one of your friends that was not very good at playing. And when he knows he's losing, right before your victory, he says, "I quit," and he takes his ball and goes home. That's what Scientology is doing. So you know what happened though? We accomplished our first objective. We stopped the city from vacating this public land. The pressure of our campaign applied, and the courage that David Albritton, Vice Mayor Lena Teixeira, and Mayor Bruce Rector showed, well, that caused the Church of Scientology to fold. Our next step is to immediately work with the city to secure a 100-year lease on a portion of South Garden Avenue through a public-private partnership. This is what we included in our proposal. We never wanted them to give up and sell this public land. We would be elated to simply lease it from them and install the Garden Memorial, which is the entrance to a mile-long memorial walkway throughout downtown that we are designing. It's an interactive multimedia experience that tells the story of Old Clearwater. We believe that this project can be a source of deep healing for our city. There's real pain surrounding the loss of our downtown to the Church of Scientology, and we see our initiative as a godsend, an opportunity to preserve land and honor a shared history. We are committed to staying the course and completing the task before us. The story of Clearwater deserves to be told and remembered. Hey, thank you. Thank you for following and supporting our efforts to save the garden.